Hi guys, it's Kathy with Art Zone and I am ready to show you one of our Thanksgiving projects. It is a turkey pinch pot. So if you turn these turkeys upside down, you will notice that their body is hollow. So that's why we call it a pinch pot. You'll get to customize your turkey any way you want. For your to-go kit, we are sending you half a pound of clay. We are sending you turkey feathers. You'll see big ones and some little ones. You'll also have some tools that you can use to attach everything together. You'll want to get water, maybe a little towel, get yourself set up. I prefer to use some newspaper underneath the clay as you work. Otherwise, sometimes it'll stick to plastic. But to create your turkey pinch pot, the first thing you're going to want to do is to take your extra clay and you're going to take just a little bit off. This little bit that I just took off will eventually become the head and the neck of the turkey. So you really don't need a whole lot for that second piece. So here's my pieces. This piece will become my body. I'm going to set my extra down and take the body and turn it into a ball. Really just using the palm of my hand to do that. Then I'm going to take my thumb and twist it back and forth until I get a clay thumb. This is going to become a pinch pot, so to pinch pot, I take my thumb out, then I'm going to put it back in and I'm going to start pinching and spinning. And I'm making a little bowl. If that bowl rips or tears, the good news is you can just squish the clay back together and it will be just fine. But once you get it thinned out, then we're going to take it and we're going to turn it upside down. And we're going to tap it on the table so that it sits flat. Now if you want to work and make that smoother, you can always do that. It really is your choice on how that turkey looks. I like to think of my thumb imprints as texture for some of the little feathers that are on the belly. So a lot of times I'll just leave that just like it is. At this point, you can go ahead and scratch your initials inside your pinch pot. Make sure we can read it. This is how you're going to find your turkey when you come pick them up. I know you're thinking, oh, I'll recognize my turkey. But when we have over 100 of them made, it gets really hard. So scratch your name, your initials. I also like to include the year. It's really fun to go back and see things that you made throughout the years. So there's our body. We're going to set that down and we're going to pick up our extra clay. We're going to take a little bit off of that extra clay and set it to the side. We'll need this little bit for the beak and the eyes and the little, I always forget what that thing's called that's hanging from their nose. So set that to the side. And once again, we're going to take a little bit more off because we need some for the neck and then your head. And you can always play with that, go back and forth on how much you need. Once you think you have it right, let's turn the head into a ball. You decide. And the other piece, we're going to turn into a snake, real short, and make it kind of thick. At least as thick as your pinky, maybe even your pointer. Because if the neck is too thin, it's just gonna, it's not gonna hold the head very well. So to attach my head to my neck, I need to scratch to attach. So I'm going to scratch the bottom of the head. Really make those scratches nice and deep. This is also called slip and score. Score means scratch. Slip is wet clay. Now I'm scratching up the bottom of the neck where I'm going to attach it to the head. Make those scratches really, really nice and deep. The reason you have to scratch to attach, clay, as it dries, it shrinks. And if you have two flat pieces of clay that you've squished together and they're drying and they're shrinking, they're just gonna pop apart. But if you rough up one side and you rough up the other side, we add water, and then you squish them together, it almost becomes like Velcro. Those pieces interlock, and as it dries, it actually gets tighter, so it really stays together. So I've scratched up the bottom of my head, bottom of my neck. Then I'm going to take my finger, I'm going to tap some water. Notice I'm not rubbing the water because that would get my scratches rubbed away. We don't want that. Then we take it and put them together. At this point, you're going to want to blend. Take some more water and just blend around where that neck attached to the bottom of the head. That blending really helps seal those two pieces of clay together. You never want to be able to see the seam around. That means you don't have a good attachment, and that's going to allow air to get inside there, and as they're drying, they're just going to pop apart. So I have really blended those two pieces together. It's my turkey head and my neck. For the beak, I'm going to go to my extra clay, take a pinch off. I don't know how big you want the beak to be. You play with it. But if I take my fingers and I squish it into a triangle point, I take the back finger, I bring it in, I'm going to start to get the shape of a beak. If it's cracking on you at all, just take some water and blend it. Just means that clay is a little dry. You play with that, get it the shape you want, and then we're ready to scratch to attach our beak. Once again, the back of the beak, I'm going to scratch it up. That's scoring. And where it's going on the head, tap some water, tap water on the back of the beak, and put the two together. You still need to blend. Take water all the way around these edges. When I go to add eyes, I like to think about the eye socket, because if I just take little pieces of clay and put them on the outside for my eyeballs, then it starts to look bug-eyed. But if I take my pinky and I press it into my head, I make a little dent, becomes an eye socket. That beak might be a little long, huh? If you don't like it, make it shorter. I'm going to curve my beak down a little. Now that I have eye sockets, I'm ready to take some of that extra clay, roll it up into little eyeballs. If possible, you still want to scratch to attach the eyeballs. If you can't scratch to attach them, then at least take the eyeball, dip it in water, and really, really blend it into that eye socket. Eyeballs really have a tendency to fall off. Now I'm going to wait to add the goblet thing that's hanging from his beak. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and add my head onto the turkey body. Once again, scratch to attach it, however it is you want it to be. Now, if your neck is too thin, it might not be able to hold up that turkey head. Then you're going to have to take it apart and make it thicker. Or if your clay is too wet, just depends how dry that clay is. That I've scratched, I'm also blending, making sure that neck is really attached. So right here, I have the start of my turkey. You can add so much more to these, anything you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and make the little goblet that's hanging from the beak. And I'm just going to start by making a ball, going back and forth, trying to make one end thicker than the other. If I keep pinching at one end, it's going to get thinner, leaving the other part thicker. And they really kind of come over the top of the beak and then hang off the side. Once again, you're gonna have to scratch to attach and blend around it. Once you've got that scratched on, blending some water, then let's go on and let's do the big tail. So we've sent you some pre-cut leaves. You can arrange them any way you want. I'm gonna start with these shapes here, and I've got 2 of them. So I'm gonna take them, and I'm just gonna put them right back here. I'm gonna scratch them up, and scratch up. Now before I actually put this on, I'm gonna try and draw some leaf veins. And I'm gonna do it on both sides because you will see both sides of this leaf. So there, I've added my leaf veins. I've scratched up the bottom where it's going to attach to my turkey. I'm gonna add some water. Press that on. You're gonna wanna pick this up and blend in the bottom so that you know that it's really attached to your turkey. And then I'm ready. So I've got 2 of that shape. I'm not gonna add the leaf veins right now, but you guys want to. Since this one is just a demonstration, it's not one that I'm going to keep. I wanna go a little faster so that you guys can create. But add your leaf veins, scratch to attach, flip it over, blend that bottom in. See the difference there? One that has a vein, one that doesn't. They're so much more interesting once you add those leaf veins in. Then I think I'm gonna switch to my taller leaf, and I'm going to arrange, I've got 3 of them, so play with that, see how you want them spaced out. You can always add a little curve to them once you get them on there. I think I'm gonna start with one right in the center. You're still gonna need to scratch to attach. Add some water. Pick them up and blend on the bottom. Say, I'm trying to go fast so that you guys can have time to work. Hopefully you're taking your time drawing your veins. I'm not going to scratch to attach this one because, like I said, this is not a turkey I'm actually gonna keep. I've already got my examples made. I like to curve them out. Make sure you're still blending. And then you have another leaf, a smaller one. I like to add that one right into the center here. Scratch to attach it, blend its bottom, and you've got your tail. And you have 2 more small leaves. I like to use them for my turkey's wings on the side. So play with that. This one, to fit it on, is going to curve out. So really the bottom is going to be scratched on, and then the other part's going to fan into his tail feathers. I'll bring this one. Don't forget your scratching to attach. There he is with his wings. If you want to add other things and you have a little extra clay, you could add legs if you like. So this guy here, he's got some legs. You could always take your leaf feathers and redo them the way you want. If you don't like the shapes we've sent you, that's fine. You could even add hats or fun bow ties, whatever you come up with. Add it to your turkey. Make sure you scratch to attach everything, even a hat. And then we've sent you glazes. You do not have to glaze it right away. If you've got time, you can set it to the side and glaze it whenever you like. I like to keep it in plastic bags until I've glazed it. That way it doesn't dry out too much, because if it gets too dry when you start glazing, things break really easy. Right now this clay is really soft and wet, but the drier it gets, the quicker it's going to break on you. So when you're ready, use your glazes. We always tell you to do at least 3 layers with your different colors. If you use the water, which you should when you're switching colors, make sure that you dry your brush. You do not want water in the glaze. It's going to make your glaze look really streaky and thin it out. You do not want to glaze the very bottom here or inside your pinch pot bowl. There's a number of reasons. First of all, we can't really stilt this inside the kiln. So if you glaze the very bottom and it goes into the kiln, it's going to get stuck. The second reason is, since this is wet clay, the moisture needs somewhere to come out. And even if it's a completely bone dry piece of clay, there's still water in it. And when we put it in the kiln, if it's completely glazed, the chances of it exploding are extremely high. So only glaze everything on top. Don't pick it up and glaze the very bottom. Once you do have them glazed, I would put them on a styrofoam plate. I wouldn't use paper because the moisture absorbs into the paper, then it gets stuck on your turkey. Put them in a styrofoam plate, put a bag over them so that they don't dry too much, so that when you're bringing them to us in the car, they have less chances of breaking. The drier they get, the easier they're going to break in that transporting it to us. So we look forward to seeing your creations, and we hope you guys have fun creating with us. Thank you.